Peace to you and yours, wherever you may be. I love you. I genuinely for free. The question was asked, what if the U.S. paid reparations, but it was conditional upon you leaving the United States? And one gentleman with the Africa Diaspora channel, he said that he figures his reparations should be in the realm of $2 million. Well, let's just go with $1 million. He said that he would leave the country and that would be no problem. And he set forth some plans that he would put in place, and seen some other people's comments and whatnot. What I'm not seeing from people is the understanding that if you flood the world economy with that many dollars, all right, there's 30 or 40 million black people in the United States. If they were to give you 1 million virtual dollars, right, put it in an account with your name and give you a card that you could swipe and use it any way you want, it would send the dollar into hyperinflation. The dollar would not be worth anything. You would not be able to go to any other country because you couldn't afford a plane ticket. If you bought a plane ticket and went there, it would cost you, $20,000 for a plane ticket to go someplace or more because of the hyperinflation. Back when this whole thing started with the pandemic and whatnot, and it was, money was being given for this purpose and that purpose and whatnot. It was sort of like a vindication for me in terms of the argument that I had given during the presidential elections that Andrew Yang or Wang, I can't remember which one is his proper last name, and I don't mean to be offensive by that. I just really truly can't remember. He was advocating for universal basic income. And so we didn't see full-blown universal basic income, but we saw something similar with the stimulus checks. And what happened with the stimulus checks, with all that money came out and everything? Immediately, people raised their prices, because they see it as though the income that people are getting this over and above their income, and my prices are already too low. Let me raise my prices so I can get somewhere close to a fair price for my goods and services. Or they're going to just test the market. Warren Buffett, I'm purposely saying his name wrong. I have my own personal reasons for that. But, he bragged about that in terms of his building, corporation where they build homes. He bragged that, hey, we raised our prices, the people paid it. We raised our prices again, the people paid it. We raised our prices again, the people paid it. And we have not seen what they won't say, where they will say no. Look at what's happened to lumber prices. Look at the fact that right now we are in a 7 or 8% inflation. That's crazy high. So this is a point that people just don't seem to get. But that's not the part that really bothers me. What really bothers me is the fact that we as African people live in a perspective of what they might do, should do, would do, could do, and it's always from a position of weakness in the mind and the spirit. And we have to break free of that. Reparations can happen, should happen, but would only happen if we as a people globally, I'm not talking, the United States, that's just one piece of the problem here. But black people globally changed their perspective about themselves and about their situation, and leave the consumer mentality and become more savvy about their finances and about how they pass wealth on, and be dogged about these things. It's not going to happen in 1 year or 2 years or one generations or 2 generations. You have to be prepared to fight the long fight of steady pounding away at these issues. And then you know what's going to happen? They're going to offer it to you, and then you'll be able to tell them under what terms you will accept it, because you control the situation. But anything that they would offer to you, or anytime they can make you take something, you're not in control anyway. So it's not going to be of any benefit to you, because you are in a position of total weakness. The whole idea that they could say to you, here, take the money, but if you take the money, you got to leave. Didn't you earn the right to be here? You have the right to be here more than they do. Why would something like that even come into your mind? It's because you think of yourself as less than. That's the problem. And as long as you think of yourself as less than, you are. Anyway, I could go on and on about this, but the big takeaway is change your perspective. Position of power. Universal unity. Global unity amongst black people. Whether you want to call them African people or whatever you want to call them, you know what I mean? I'm fond of Pan-African, but hey, we want to include our brothers and sisters in Papua and in Micronesia and in the Solomon Islands and all over the Pacific and in the Philippines and everywhere. You know, if we want to include them, which we need to include them, because the way I look at it is like this. If somebody was calling the police and they said the victim, the assailant, or the person of interest, doesn't matter. When they give the description, if they say this black person, a black male, a black female, I'm talking to you. You know, they don't know if you're from Micronesia. They don't know if you're from Australia. They don't know if you're from Uganda or New Orleans or, Pigeon Hook, Tennessee. They don't know where you're from. But they recognize you as a black person. Hey, guess what? I'm talking to you. You got the same problems I got. You got the same aspirations I got. You got the same needs that I got. Okay? But the main thing is we're fighting against the same problems. And we got to get away from consumer mindset. We got to get from this low perspective. We got to get away from thinking that somebody is better than us. Stop using this terminology. Even though you're using it in the proper context, stop saying white supremacy. Say imperialism. Say colonialism. But don't say white supremacy. You understand how that affects your brain. Anyway, big up. Love you for free, and I'm out.